Today, we're going to talk about conditioning for combat sports. Cardio is the most important factor next to actual skill for winning your fights. More so than strength, more so than mentality, more so than anything. But despite cardio being such an important factor, most fighters have no idea how to build stable conditioning. The solution most fighters have is to jog 3 or 4 times a week and do sprints twice. Bam, you've done absolutely nothing for your cardio. Now, it's not that running is necessarily bad, it's a fine way to train your conditioning, but we can be way more efficient. We can get better results in less time by doing other stuff. And it's not doing pads either. Pads are great, but it's kind of like trying to get more power by doing pads. Yeah, you probably will get a bit more powerful, you will get a bit better cardio, but mitts are more so where we channel our cardio, where we channel our power. It's not really a tool that should be used to develop cardio, in my opinion. And just on a side note here, 90% of fighters run, and so it might feel a bit sketchy to not do it. But I can say from personal experience, I've won a bunch of fights in the last year by simply outpacing my opponent, and I haven't ran consistently for my entire fighting career. Now, simply running isn't good enough because running only trains one of your three energy systems, that being the aerobic system. The aerobic system is essentially lower pace, higher time. Aerobic cardio essentially makes your oxygen supply more efficient, which essentially means that you can keep a higher pace at a lower heart rate, thus making it easier. Now, this type of cardio essentially serves two purposes for fighters. One, it allows you to recover quicker, which in effect means you're able to push a higher pace for longer. And two, it regenerates your energy, essentially meaning that as you push on, you still have energy left. If you don't train this properly, you're going to gas out by moving around a lot and you're going to recover worse between rounds. Those are two telltale signs that your aerobic system is lacking. So how do we train this? Well, running is a great alternative because it's such a steady pace for a long duration, but we can train it a lot better. Because running has two main problems. One, it's a very high impact on your joints, which means that it takes a lot of energy to recover from. For me, that just feels like a waste of energy when I could be doing low impact stuff that has the same effect or even better. The second problem is that it takes too long. Personally, I get so bored by running, and while there's definitely a benefit to that too, I want to spend my time on other stuff. So to fix these, we're going to do aerobic intervals on the air bike. You can do this in different ways, but one of the ways I like the absolute most is aerobic power intervals. You're going to go 2 minutes at the highest pace you can maintain. Keyword here being maintain. You don't want to go all out for 10 seconds and then for the next 150 you're dead. At that point you're not working anything. So after 2 minutes at the highest pace, you rest for 1 minute and you repeat this for 4 to 6 sets. Now, I would do this 2 to 3 times a week, and the trick to actually getting good at this cardio is to not do it when you have a fight, but rather year round. That is the true game changer here. You should be doing aerobic cardio all year round because it's your baseline. So the higher your baseline, the better cardio you're gonna have. Now, doing this 2 to 1 interval 3 times a week is already great. It already separates you from a lot of fighters who simply run. We can go one step above this with one simple trick to get to the top 90% of fighters. And the trick is to change it up a bit each session. Personally, I have 3 variants of this aerobic split I like to do. Now, switching it up isn't really the hard part. The hard part is to actually structure all of this information into a functioning program. Luckily for you, we've got exactly that linked down below. This conditioning split includes how to train not only your aerobic cardio, but also a lactic and lactic capacity. It includes a bunch of stuff like how to periodize your training and how to structure and mix the different intervals in fight camps. This split is pure gold. It includes a lot of nice information like dieting tips and knowing when you're in fight shape. And the best part is, the plan only costs $8, which honestly is a steal considering that a conditioning coach probably takes 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks a session. Check it out, link in the description, it helps the channel a ton. Back to the video. The second energy system you have to train is maybe the most important, but it is by far the least trained one. And that is your lactic capacity. Basically, when you're scrambling or clinching or just going at a high pace for a long time, your body produces lactic acid. Now this happens between 10 and 60 seconds. For this system, the key is short intervals where you push hard. I'm talking 30 seconds on, 1 minute off for 6 to 8 rounds. This is still max pace you can maintain. We still don't want to crash during each set. These are basically hell on earth, but I promise you, if you stay consistent with these, you will get results in 2 to 3 weeks. Now, I would recommend 1 to 2 sessions each week if you're out of camp and 2 if you're in camp. Now that's one way to do it, but another great way I like is to do on-off intervals. That could be, for example, 15 seconds on, 15 seconds off for 4 sets. And then you would rest for 2 minutes and do 6 of those intervals. That's another way that's more realistic to how you're actually going to pace yourself in the fight. But the key thing here is still to kind of switch it up each session. The last system is the knockout system, also known as the anaerobic alactic system. This is the knockout system because it is 100% effort for a smidge of time. We're talking intervals of like 6 to 10 seconds, max. Now the goal here is not to die of fatigue, it is to have 100% power in all of your sets. So an interval I like for this is to go 6 to 10 seconds on 100% pace, followed by 1 minute of complete rest done for 8 sets if you're far away from your fight. We're talking like 6 to 4 weeks out, or 12 sets if you're 3 weeks out or closer. Now this interval is a bit special because you can basically do this with any exercise. We've got a couple of alternatives linked for you in the workout, so yet another reason to check it out. This energy system essentially allows you to keep your power after throwing hard shots. It doesn't necessarily build power, but it does make sure you keep it. Now, the last little tip I've got for you is to find your max heart rate and your VO2 max. This can be done with, for example, a beep test, or if you don't have the space for that, you can do a Cooper test. Essentially, you run for, I think it's 12 minutes, as far as you can, and then you can use a special calculator to see your VO2 max. I'll have a calculator linked in the description if you want to find out your VO2 max. And make sure when you do this, you measure your max heart rate with some kind of heart rate watch. This is so that you know how close you are to your max heart rate when you do these intervals and whether that's good or bad. As always, I appreciate you checking out the video. Don't forget to check out the cardio plan linked down below. It helps support the channel a ton. Even if you don't plan on fighting, having good cardio is such a game changer just in life in general. Let me know what you think about this down below. I try to read all the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.